Welcome to Maximize Your True Potential, Strategies for Success, hosted by Ken Kingstead. Part 7, Mastering the Floor-Up Follow-Up Call. This series will give you the edge to recognize and then achieve your goals through its philosophy of constant, never-ending improvement. Strategies that will become a fluid part of who you are. Maximize your true potential, Strategies for Success. Your first step to success, beyond your imagination.
Hi, I want to thank you again for your time. Today we're going to get into floor-up follow-up. Hey, how do you call back your unsold prospects? You know, we talked in our very initial tapes, we talked about our follow-up process. And we talked about that if a store is selling 100 cars, it's talking to 500 people that month, at 20% equals 400 unsold prospects. And what we need to do is figure out how do we manage that 400 unsold prospects the best way. What do we say when we call back an unsold customer? Do we say things like, hey, did you make a decision yet? I hear that all the time. Yeah, we decided not to buy your car. You know, what do I have to do to earn your business? Okay, you know, what's going on? What do I need to do? Can you bring your trade back in and I give you more money for your vehicle? Would you get more excited about, give me an opportunity to earn your business? Or the best one is this: what do I have to do to earn your business? I mean, are we pleading with these customers, trying to sell them a car? Again, we want to serve these customers, don't we? And calling back our prospects is one thing, but calling them back intelligently is what we want to do. Does that make sense? We don't want to just call them back, although calling them back is better than not calling them back. I mean, I'd rather hear you say one of those bad things rather than not call them back at all. And ironically, why do we say those things when we do? When we call them back, why do we say things like, did you make a decision yet? Or what do I have to do to earn your business? Those are the most natural things to say if you have no training at all. In other words, if you've never been trained on how to call back an unsold customer, what's the most logical thing to say? Well, I guess you just say to them what? Think about it once. Did you make a decision yet? You know we didn't. Well, what do I have to do to earn your business? Did you like our car? Hey, by the way, if I give you more money for your vehicle, could I get you back in and take another look at it again? I mean, that's what you would do if you've never been educated. And hopefully today what we're going to do is give you some good skills, some hard skills, to take it to the level you need to go to in terms of intelligently calling them back to get a high ratio back in the door. And again, as I said, we want to get 20% is the benchmark for contacts to get appointments. So if we got 80 people that haven't purchased yet, we say that 20% of those people should come back in. In other words, set appointments. And again, we talked about how many of those will show up. 50% will show, which gives us how many people coming in the door. 40 additional bodies coming back in, doing the continuation of their homework. And we know that 36%, again, worst case scenario, of people who actually buy. In this case here, we end up with what? About 14 additional units. Okay? And that's what we're trying to get to today. So do the math. It's about an extra 2 cars per person per month for each and every one of us that's selling a car. If we're doing 100 cars, in other words, then you got 6 guys, 8 guys doing 100 cars a month. That's an extra couple deals per person each. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So the most important thing we got to look at, though, is when we call back our prospects, is getting through to our prospects. And I look through in our dealerships, I go through a list of how many customers we have 1 phone number on. How many customers do we have 2 phone numbers on? And ironically, I look at the list and we got 1 phone number, 1 phone number, 1 phone number. And guess what number it is? It's their home number. And we know, when is it busy at the dealership? It's busy when? It's busy in the evening, isn't it? And when's it quiet? Well, quiet time is between probably 8 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So when do you think the best time to call the customer is? Not at 5 o'clock. You want to call them during the downtime in the dealership. Again, we want to become more proactive, not reactive in our environment. So if we can call back our unsold prospects intelligently during the day. Now I know what you're thinking. You're going, but I can't call people back at work, can I? Listen, there's been a ton of studies done. Okay, the most recent study said that people want to be called at work. Average American now works over 50 hours a week. Trust me, I work a ton of hours myself, and I'm traveling all the time. When I'm at home, hey, that's my family time. That's my time with my little boy. That's my time with my wife. And the last thing I want to do is be bothered at home, telemarketers or someone calling me. Listen, if I'm at work and I'm doing my thing at work, yeah, I'll take 15 minutes out and talk to that person and kind of go through the process that way. No problem. Ironically, people said, call me at work. Don't call me at home when they were polled. And they said the best time to contact them at work is between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. That's the best time. Okay? All right, so how do we do that, though? You know, just saying to the customer when we're face-to-face with them, because remember, we're calling them back. They left. They were in our dealership. We went through the process. We did everything we could to close them when they were here. But guess what? A ton of information, a ton of products, and a ton of money does what? It stretches, if you will remember, the buying cycle. So realizing that, it's not your fault at all times. You know, we got our manager involved in the deal. He went into the TO. They went home. But guess what? We got to get their phone numbers before they leave. So how do we ask customers for their telephone numbers right now? Do we say, hey, what's your phone number? That's what I hear all the time. Hey, what's your phone number? Oh, it's 555-1212. Okay, very good. Thanks a lot. Listen, if I come across anything else, I'll give you a call. Have a great day. And that's the end of it. We got to get better than that and get sharper than that. Listen to this. Hey, what's the best way to contact you during the day? Is that a little better, you think? Remember I said, best time to contact me is during the day, isn't it? Between 9 and 11? So why not ask for it? Hey, what's the best time to contact you during the day? Write that down. It's important you memorize that. I haven't asked one person ever to memorize anything. Okay, but I'm asking you now to memorize this. Why? It's that important. Again, one of the biggest issues in overcoming the challenge of calling our customers is really getting them to get some success with it. If you keep calling the home number and people are working during the day and you get the answering machine and the answering machine and the answering machine, what are you going to do after 10 answering machines? Forget this darn thing. It doesn't work. I'll stand at the point and wait for my customer that I can grab and touch today. So get the best number during the day. So what's the best number to reach during the day? And if they come back and say something like this here to you, hey, I can't receive phone calls at work. Go back to your pacing and leading. Hey, I understand that. I would never want to abuse you, actually calling you and bothering you at work. That's the last thing I ever want to do for you. Okay? Sometimes, though, we come across a special vehicle comes in on trade. It's just 1 in 100, if you will. If I come across something like that and I can save you thousands of dollars, what's the best way to reach you during the day? Again, give them a reason to want to give you what? That number during the day. Is that making sense? Once you get that number, go on to the next number. Hey, if I miss you at that number, hey, what's the very next best number to reach you at? You hear the difference, everybody? So what's the best way to reach you during the day? It's during the day. If I miss you there, what's the next best number? It's probably going to be what number, you think? It's probably going to be their home number. Hey, by the way, if I try both those numbers, and I got some fantastic news I want to give to you, and I miss you, what do you recommend that I do? Now we're going to a recommendation. And instead of saying what? Hey, what's your phone number? We're saying, what do you recommend that we do here for you? I got a great opportunity here for you. We have a new incentive that just came up. I can save you thousands of dollars. But I've tried you at both places and I can't get through to you. What should I do? What do you recommend? Hey, call me on my cell phone or call me on my pager. Or better yet, you know what? Here's my email address. Email me. I have my email on all the time, and I'll get the email. Again, we're working towards what? Getting ways of reaching these people during the daytime. Now listen, if you're making all your phone calls after 5 o'clock when they are at home, what's going to happen then? You're going to miss your fair share of opportunities on the dealership's floor. And where does the dealer want you during that time? During prime time, if you will. Prime time being from 5 until 9, let's just say. I mean, as a dealer, he spends all his money in advertising, and bulk of his traffic comes in when? From 5 until 9. So does he want you on the phone banging the horn at that time? Heck no. He wants you out there pressing the flesh, meeting the people, signing up customers. It's taking care of that business. Does that make sense? So most important thing we want to do is realize how to reach these people during the day. So let's review. What's the best way to reach you during the day? If I miss you there, what's the next best number? If I try both of those numbers and I really got to get a hold of you, what do you recommend that I do? And remember this, tie it together, pace by pace by pace. So it's not being like an interrogation, it's a conversation. And we're growing a rapport between these two customers. Does that make sense? Okay, now, bam, once we got that information, let's call them back. And listen, I tell you, before I said the reason we don't call them back is because we don't know how to call them back. Or we do call them back and the results aren't very effective, so what do? Now we blow them off. I'm going to teach you this. Every call we make, we need to open up intelligently. So when we call back, let's say Mr. Smith, okay? Let's get a hold of Mr. Smith. We give him a call, and the first thing we want to do is what? Get command of his time, isn't it? Hi, is this Mr. Smith? Yeah, this is he. Mr. Smith, am I getting at a pretty good time? I didn't say what? Hey, Mr. Smith, am I getting at a bad time? He goes, well, now that you mentioned it, yeah, this is a bad time. Who's calling, please? And geez, what'd you just do to yourself? Instead of doing it that way, go to the optimist side. Hey, is this Mr. Smith? Yes, this is he. Hey, Mr. Smith, am I getting at a pretty good time? Yeah, I guess so. Who's calling, please? Hey, this is Ken Kingstead, just giving you a call back from over here at ABC Motors. Hey, I was going through my notes this morning. I know you were out at our dealership last night, and I want to thank you. What's that, everybody? It's a pace. I know that you were out last night just doing your homework and trying to educate yourself on the process. Pace number 2. I think it's a great idea. Matter of fact, I'd do the same thing if I was in your shoes. Pace number what? 3. Does that make sense? We're opening up and we're reestablishing what? A rapport between the customer and I. He may have gotten 3 or 4 phone calls already from other dealers that he's visited. And what do they say? Mr. Smith, am I getting at a bad time? Yeah, who's calling, please? This is Johnny calling from ABC Motors. Did you make a decision yet? Yeah, we're not really too sure what we're going to do yet. We're kind of holding off a little bit. What do I need to do to earn your business? Well, like I told you last night, I'm still doing my shopping. I'm still going to go out and drive this vehicle and that vehicle. Well, hold on. If I give you more money for your trade, would you come back in and give me a chance at least to earn your business? You see what I mean? With those types of questions being asked, how do you feel? Like all this person wants is a darn commission for himself. He don't care about me. It's not about relationship selling. It's all about him. Versus, hey, Mr. Smith, I get you at a pretty good time. They're going to say, well, I guess so. Who's calling, please? Hey, this is Ken Kingston just giving you a call back from over here at ABC Motors. Hey, listen, I know you were out to our dealership last night, and I want to say, first off, thank you very much for spending some time with me. Again, you're putting your eyes on them. We're reestablishing rapport, okay? And they'll come back and say, well, I appreciate that, and so forth. And then come back with, listen, I know that sometimes my customers will go home, and they'll go through the notes that they went through in doing the research, and maybe a question or two will pop up. And I was a little concerned. Did you have any questions about our vehicle since you went home last night? And they're going to come back with, either yes or no. And if they say yes, say, really, what question do you have? Well, I was just concerned. Was that a 4x4 we drove last night, or was that a 2-wheel drive truck? Well, then just answer the question. It's a great question. I'm glad that you asked it, and I apologize for not addressing it more clearly to you last night. The truck you drove last night was actually a 4x4. Did you have any other questions at all? They're going to come back with either yes again or no, but if they say, no, that's fine. If they said no initially, guess what you do? Great, I'm glad you haven't got any questions. It makes me feel like I did my job properly, and I really pride myself on doing just that. Hey, by the way, did you like the vehicle we looked at last night? They're going to come back and say what? Well, hopefully you did your steps to the sale properly, so hopefully they're going to say, yeah, we liked the vehicle. Come right back and pace them again. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I kind of sense that both you and your wife and your family all like the vehicle. And it makes good sense because that's one of the top sellers right now in America. And now I'm going to switch to a next question, guys. The question goes to this. Oh, by the way, what were you comparing that vehicle to? Now, you may think to yourself, that's kind of a strange question to ask. Why would you ask that question? Why would you want to open up that can of worms, if you will? And I'll tell you, people are doing their homework. They are comparing. We're naive if we think they're not comparing. So when you ask this question, you're being that consultant, their friend. Hey, by the way, what were you comparing that vehicle to? Oh, we were comparing it to XYZ vehicle. Hey, good for you. You're doing your homework. And as a matter of fact, either way you go, you're not going to make a bad decision. Wow. That's really different, isn't it? But again, I'm not going to overcompliment that car. I'm not going to say too many good things, but I'm going to say, you know what? Hey, good for you. You're doing your homework. Both cars are great. You're not going to make a bad decision either way you go. Let me ask you this, though. Next question in my call guide. What impressed you or really surprised you about our vehicle? Optimistic look at the vehicle now. But I was really impressed with the ride. Man, it drove unbelievable. And I was really impressed with the fuel economy and the safety. I want a laundry list right now of great things. Again, who's selling who now? He's selling me. He's telling me why he liked my vehicle. See, we're a consultant. Okay, great. I'm glad you noticed those 3 things. So tell you what, the factory spent millions and millions of dollars in research and development to get that vehicle to have that kind of crash test rating, to get that kind of fuel economy. What am I doing now? Again, I'm continuing to pace. I'm kind of sandwiching, if you will, every question I ask with a pace, so that my questions that I'm asking are always being led by paces. That way we've got a relationship being established. They're answering my questions, and we got a nice rapport established. Doesn't that make sense? And the number one question we want to ask at this point, of our funnel technique we call this, is this. Hey, by the way then, you like this, this, and this in the vehicle. Help me out. I'm a little confused. What was the one thing that really held you back from just going forward last night and just buying the vehicle? It can only be one of three things. Actually, one of four things, but three are the real objections. The machine. When I say the machine, I'm not referring to your machine. I'm referring to the competition. If he went out that day knowing that he's going to look at, let's just say, a Honda, a Toyota, and a Nissan, hypothetically. Or he's going to go out and look at a Chevy and a Ford and a Dodge. Regardless what he's looking at, okay? He may have gone out there and specifically said, I'm going to stop at this store first, and then I'm going to go to this store and then this store. Because I was on Edmunds.com last night, and it says that all three need to be looked at because they're all comparable. And he's going to make a logical decision. So his machine objection was, hey, I haven't driven X vehicle yet. So we just wanted to stop by yours, get the information from you, and we're going to still go out and do this. And that happens all the time, doesn't it? The second objection is the buying cycle. Hey, I'm not really ready to buy yet. I saw the ad on TV. A friend of mine bought your vehicle. I want to come out and take a look at it myself, just pick up some information. Heck, I'm probably a month or two away from making a decision. I'm not in a hurry at all. Make sense? The third objection is going to go into the money. That's what we hear all the time. And I tell you this, we hear the money objection a lot. And if we polled everybody, you'd say probably 70% of the objections that I hear are the money objection. And I'll tell you this, that's a training issue on the steps to the sale. So I'll tell you this, what happens. In most stores, salespeople want the sale right now. They want to get that end in mind, if you will, and grab that sale, and you move on to the next customer. So what they end up doing, there's two ways of selling cars, and we know this here. You can go 20% selling, 80% closing. Or we can do the old 80% selling and 20% closing. And we look at this as being A, this is it being B. Which is the proper way of selling? If we know, obviously, it's going to be the B. This is the proper flow of the proper steps to the sale. If we do a good job, and we spend 80% of our time, standing on our feet on the lot, selling our product, our dealership, the close is a cakewalk. It's an easy transition. But if we spend very little time on our floor, selling on our feet, and we spend all of our time closing on our seat, what's going to happen? It's all going to come down to the money, the money, the money. Why? There's no mental ownership attached to this particular vehicle. It's a logical decision. So of course it's going to be the money. So I'll tell you this, to alleviate a big problem in this negotiation process is slow down and do your steps to the sale properly, and you won't have as many objections with the money. Does that make sense? But the money is a legitimate, obviously, issue in terms of objections we need to overcome. And the fourth one is the personality conflict. And if you've listened to our other tape in terms of rapport technology and pacing and leading in the past, then that should never be an issue for you. You should always have rapport because we're consciously aware of our people and we're mirroring our customers and we're doing the things we know to need to do to develop that bridge. So that should never be an issue. But you know what? There's a call guide for that as well. So what we've done so far is we talked about how to funnel down or open up every phone call that we make. And now we're going to get into the actual objections that we're going to need to understand to overcome and bring the customer back into our dealership. Does that make sense? Hey, again, this has been an awesome opportunity for me to share with you some great ideas and some techniques of overcoming and getting our customers more comfortable with giving you their phone numbers. That's the most important thing with doing a follow-up call, is getting quality numbers. So listen, I appreciate that. Watch this tape again and again and again and follow along in the workbook because I tell you what, it'll make you 10 times what you're doing already. I appreciate you. Have a great day.